Hello guys and welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about the StormClaw Druid, more specifically the basic attack, pure StormClaw build. For this build you will need 3 uniques to be at max potential. Those uniques are the Staff of Crone, Mad Wolf's Glee, and probably the rarest of the 3, Tempest Roar. I wanted to wait to make this video until I found a better Staff of Crone. I found the first one at level 64 and didn't see another until level 100. The new staff was a huge GPS buff, but was missing +3 to claw, which is the main ability in this build. So keep that in mind. For our abilities, we are going to be using Bloodhowl. Bloodhowl heals you for 25% of your maximum life. Each kill reduces the cooldown of Bloodhowl by 1 second, and Bloodhowl also increases your attack speed by 15% for 4 seconds. The next skill we're going to be taking is Hurricane. Hurricane acts as a defensive and an offensive ability as well. Enemies who are damaged by Hurricane are slowed by 25% for 2 seconds. Enemies affected by Hurricane deal 20% less damage. Hurricane has many purposes. It spreads vulnerability, it spreads the poison damage, which slows and helps us crit in AoE scenarios. And it helps us stack Loop Bind Ferocity as well. The third skill we're going to be taking is Debilitating Roar. It's probably the best defensive ability for Druids. Fortifies you for 22% of your life. All enemies around you deal 70% less damage for 4 seconds. They are all also slowed for 65%. For our ultimate, we're going to be taking Grizzly Rage. It's a defensive, offensive, like all the other abilities. You gain 20% bonus damage and 20% damage reduction. Damage bonus is increased by 3% each second while in this form. We're pretty much always going to be in Grizzly Rage. You also gain 8% of your life. It's like a hill over time just ticking on you the whole time. And the most obvious bonus to this is we're unstoppable. Pretty much 90% of the time that we're playing Druid, we're going to be unstoppable. Which means we don't have to worry about CC or being stun locked. Pretty much any enemy ability. For our basic attack, we're going to be using Claw. Claw also triggers Storm Strike. This is what the whole build is built around. Our attack speed is increased by 10% and Claw has a 15% chance to attack twice. Also really high lucky hit chance. And finally, we're going to be taking Cyclone Armor. We have 0 points in Cyclone Armor, but it fits the build. It's technically a defensive ability. We're also using it as like a interrupt. Whenever you think you're going to be hit by anything or you need to get out of a sticky situation, you just pop Cyclone Armor and you knock everything back. So for example, when you're surrounded by the enemies that explode, and if you're not going to kill them before they explode, you just pop Cyclone Armor and you knock everything back. So all the abilities for this build synchronize really well. They're all offensive in a way and defensive in a way. So besides the uniques, our aspects are going to be Overcharge for our gloves. It's a lucky hit, 10 to 20%. It's 20% chance when dealing lightning damage to overload the target for 3 seconds, causing any direct damage you deal to them to pulse for additional damage. Before extracting this from an item, be sure to upgrade the armor piece. The aspect will upgrade as well. Most of the time it's better to get the aspect from the codex because it scales with your level, but the lucky hit chance stays at 10%. If you are lucky enough to find a 20% with higher stats, use that. The aspect that we're going to be using for our pants is Disobedience. It's just survivability, stacking armor. For our boots, we're going to be using the aspect of Dark Owl. If I was going to switch out any aspect, it would probably be this one if you want to change the build at all. It is good for survivability, and a lot of your damage works off of Immobilize as well. For the amulet, we're going to use the aspect Rapid. The whole build is based off of basic attacks, and this gives your basic attack up to 45% more attack speed. For the rings, we're going to use the aspect of Werebeast and Direwolf. Werebeast increases the duration of your Grizzly Rage by up to 5 seconds. In addition, it stacks crit for you. And Direwolf allows Grizzly Rage to be used as a werewolf. These two aspects are pretty much necessary because the main goal of the build is to keep the downtime of Grizzly Rage as low as possible. This is because while you're in Grizzly Rage, everything is increased: your damage, your survivability, your life leech, even your movement speed, spirit cost reduction, even though we're not using core skills. For our skill tree, we are going to be maxing out Claw, 1 point into Enhanced Claw, and 1 point into Wild Claw. Then we're going to max out Storm Strike, Enhanced Storm Strike, and Fierce Storm Strike. We take 0 core abilities besides the passive, which is Predatory Instinct. In the defensive tree, we get 2 more passives, 1 point into Ancestral Fortitude and 3 points into Vigilance, 1 point into Blood Howl, Enhanced Blood Howl, and Preserving Blood Howl, 1 point into Debilitating Roar, Enhanced and Innate Debilitating Roar. The companion tree, we're just gonna skip altogether. In the wrath skills, we're gonna put 1 point into Elemental Exposure, 1 point into Charged Atmosphere, and 1 point into Bad Omen. We're gonna put 3 into Endless Tempest and 3 into Electric Shock, 1 point into Hurricane, 1 point into Enhanced Hurricane, and 1 point into Savage Hurricane. Next, we're gonna put 1 point into Neurotoxin and 1 point into Toxic Claws. You only need 1 point into Toxic Claws. We're just using this to spread poison onto everything that we attack with Hurricane or our basic attack, which allows us to do more damage. We're going to place 3 points into Envenom. Poisoned enemies take 30% additional critical strike damage, and that's why we need the 1 point into Toxic Claws, just so we keep everything poisoned. For our ultimate tree, we're going to put 1 point into Defiance, 3 points into Natural Disaster, and 3 points into Resonance. 1 point to Grizzly Rage, 1 point to Prime Grizzly Rage, and Supreme Grizzly Rage. For our key passive, we're going to be taking Lupine Ferocity. Every 6 attack will crit and deal 70% increased damage. Hurricane will build this, and we have massive attack speed in this build, so this is going to be proccing a lot more than you think it will. And now I'm going to show some short gameplay, and then get into the Paragon points, and then an overview of the build. Okay guys, for the Paragon boards, first we go right. The first glyph is going to be Werewolf. The next board will be Thunderstruck. And the second glyph will be Fang and Claw. The next board is going to be Constricting Tendrils. The glyph will be Territorial. And then we go north from there to the Lust for Carnage board. The glyph that we are going to be taking is Undaunted. This is more of an optional glyph. We could also swap it out for Fulminate, Guzzler, and later on I will be swapping this out for Fulminate most likely. We're going to go left to the next board, which is going to be Ancestral Guidance. And be sure to pick up all the basic skill damage nodes as well. From this board alone, for the minimal investment that we are putting in, we are going to be picking up 70 basic skill damage. It's massive. The glyph that we are going to be picking up is Exploit. And for the final board, we're going to move from the Thunderstruck board and go to Heightened Malice. I honestly believe this is the best Paragon setup. We pick up all the damage. We min-max as much as possible. I do believe this build can clear 90 to 100 Nightmare Dungeons and before swapping Constricting Tendrils to gather more defensive nodes. But later on, we will most likely be dropping Constricting Tendril to pick up more defensive nodes and increase our survivability. This build will also be linked down below in the description of the video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the build. Any comments or input are welcome.